What's up, guys? So we have more updates and, all the drama with Smash World Tour, Panda Cup, BTS, Alan, you name it. So there's a lot here, and then there's TO statements, Smash World Tour response, etc. And I'm going to try to summarize the main points as best as I can. This is very long, but I will do my best here. So I will say right now, Alan and his family and his friends were doxxed. Panda people are doxxed. He's had the right third police report. No matter what you think about him in the situation, come on, don't. Why? Whoever the hell is doxing people, why the fuck would you do that? Don't threaten someone over this bullshit. It's really just disheartening. I know it's not many people, it's a very smart group of people actually doing this, but it makes everyone look bad. So, and it's not right. It's not right no matter what to threaten people like this with doxing them. And then Alan says he froze up. He knew the PR statement was kind of bad pretty much, but he just didn't know what to do. Which honestly, it sucks. He's a CEO, he should be better than this, but at the same time it's understandable because it's such a hard situation to be in. He also says that he wanted to step down, but his team didn't want him to. I'm not sure how much I believe in that, to be honest. Because I feel like everyone was agreeing he should step down, but whatever. So, first part of the statement is Smash World Tour stuff. Relevant points from this part is that VG Bootcamp knew about the Panda Cup being announced, and that Nintendo wanted them to wait a few months pretty much before announcing the Smash World Tour because of, licensing, talks and whatever, and that VG Bootcamp just launched before they had approval from Nintendo way in advance. And that VG Bootcamp launched knowing this could be a problem. That much I can believe, honestly. They might have been threatened by Panda. They might feel like Nintendo would never give them a license because Nintendo's so hard to work with. And a lot of the crux of all these issues in this entire thing is Nintendo being so hard to work with. If they were easier to work with, I feel like none of this could have had to happen. Yeah, and then Alan goes on to say Smash World Tour to Gambit. Where either they don't get shut down, they're chilling. They use social media backlash against Nintendo to give them a license and the threat of getting shut down, or they get shut down, they're martyred for the community and they use that to their advantage. Now, I don't know. I don't think going into pretty much bankruptcy, just become a martyr of the community makes sense for VG Bootcamp. So it seems like kind of BS, but yeah, that part of the statement was kind of like, but yeah, VG Bootcamp, and basically, honestly, a lot of this also feels like Smash Bros. Horror kind of lashed out at Panda when they got shut down. And I don't really think that Panda had the ability to tell Nintendo, a giant corporation, hey, shut this event down. I'm sure Nintendo, the only reasons for doing the bullshit because it's Nintendo. It took super long for Panda to get a partnership with Nintendo. And that was just an NA circuit. Imagine a worldwide circuit. Yeah, that's gotta take forever to do. But yeah, even according to Alan in this statement, apparently Nintendo was open to working with Smash Tour, was gonna let them run their shit and whatever. So, as far as based on Alan's statement, everything was going fine. Oh, then he has some tinfoil hat conspiracy theory that maybe Smash Tour 2022 is never gonna happen. They didn't have a hotel block. And that was proven pretty quickly. Disproven pretty quickly, right? I had my flight booked. Zamba did. The hotels were booked. The venue space was booked, etc. We had a Smash Tour in 2021. So, everything seemed like it's going fine there. So, this part of the statement's all, kind of BS. But, once again, I feel like Smash Tour and Nintendo just had their own drama going on there. Whether it was miscommunication in Nintendo, which it sucks because I feel like that's the most believable thing at this point, is that someone at Nintendo was told that Smash Tour could run, and then someone else was told they actually can't, right at the end, for whatever reason. And also just adding on to Panda's part of things, literally plop one Smash Tour 2021. Panda players were allowed to go to Smash Tour events. There's no reason I think Panda was working against Smash World Tour. I mean, they also, scheduling events around Smash World Tour. Oh, you're running the event second weekend of December, we're going to have a third weekend of December, because main stage is first weekend of December. So, and also, Alan knew that if Smash Tour gets canceled, considering Panda, licensed with Nintendo, it would hurt Panda. So that was another reason I think that Panda wouldn't try to hurt Smash Tour, because that screws Panda over. I will say, however, as a follow-up, that apparently Alan could just be lying here for all we know. Because one of the TOs, Gallon Game, I think this is Battle of BC, says, I can corroborate that at Summit in November 21, I was verbatim told that Smash Tour won't exist anymore. So, for all we know, Alan maybe did know Smash Tour was getting canceled. I mean, it could also be he knew it could get canceled, but wasn't actively involved in trying to get it canceled and still trying to work with them. Like, those statements could exist in tandem. I feel like there's another person that said something about that. I feel like Ken also said something along those lines. But anyway, it's like multiple TOs said that. Also, we have the proof of the email Smash Tour got about being told they need a license to run events and not getting given the license. Just because I said before, having that proof would be very nice. So yeah, like, screw Nintendo. And if this statement is true, Alan's saying they weren't doing anything, but also telling TOs, hey, Smash Tour's gonna get shut down. Join Panda, not us. Like, man, it just looks like more proof that Alan wasn't doing anything. He kind of knew what was happening in Nintendo, and maybe like Smash Tour is giving like false information. And I don't know. It's so confusing in this regard, because it's like so much miscommunication and so much like he said, she said. It's really obnoxious, honestly. It's hard to sift through, and I feel like we never get the truth of it unless like Nintendo says something, and Nintendo, they're not gonna give us the full truth ever. I also gotta get a drink. Be right back. Now, there's a lot of stuff here with BTS. A lot of stuff with BTS. An insane amount of stuff with BTS. So, I'm going to do my best to summarize all the stuff with the BTS situation. And that is, Panda seemed like Alan seemed like he legitimately wanted to work with BTS. Like, they were trying to message, BTS. Trying to message a lot of TOs. And offer ways they could both benefit. Offer things like, okay, maybe stream on Nintendo channel, but BTS gets all the revenue. Or maybe there'll be a side stream just for Panda. Then, BTS gets Panda Cup for their event with some of the sponsors. Or maybe analysis desk from Panda, and then BTS gets all the revenue. Like, it seemed like Alan was really doing his best to try and work with BTS to get them with Panda. And in a way that everyone benefits. And that much I could see. And the same thing with like the non-BTS events as well. But the problem for Alan was just talking with Ken was very difficult. And he was basically stonewalling them. Which maybe Alan should have said, okay, if they're not going to work with us, whatever, we don't have to work with them. Granted, it's hard because there's only so many events and you need to have someone in the Panda Cup. But yeah. But then like the problem was, despite all these different attempts, Alan like had to work with BTS, or Ken in particular, is the problem was, like, working with Panda required giving something up on, like, the TO side, right? Like, giving up broadcast rights, even if they get the revenue. Or having to give up some branding and, stick Panda logos on their branding. And basically, so, a lot of TOs have been burned. Actually, let me put it this way. TOs don't work well with each other. This is something that anyone who goes to tournaments knows this, I imagine. Local TOs have trouble working with each other to coordinate events instead of stepping on each other's feet. So imagine national TOs not stepping on each other's feet. It's difficult. I'm sure they do it to a certain extent to not run events in the same weekend so they don't all get screwed over. But TOs like having control over their own events, which is understandable. It's, their creative passions. It's the way they make money, maybe. Whatever it is, it's their thing. So it makes sense that they don't want to cooperate in a way that threatens their own streams. I'm not feeling this, so let me change it real quick. So, in a way, I love Valhalla, by the way. This soundtrack's amazing. But yeah, they don't want to work with the threatens own streams. Their own branding. Their own future. And so, like, if you, like, just based on Alan's perspective of it, it makes sense why a lot of the BTS and, like, other TOs kind of felt like Alan may have been trying to strong-arm them and threaten them, right? Because he's really insistent on working together, but he's also really insistent on, like, taking some control of these events. Even if, in his perspective, it made sense for everyone, he was just helping out. Like, you could totally have a world where Alan was doing his best to help himself and everyone else out in a positive way, while being open to, like, whatever they want. While still also having a world where TOs felt very threatened, or, like, Alan was being very pushy and strong-arming things. So, that sucks. It's like fear, use communication, being territorial. And I feel like there's a world where everyone potentially could have worked together. But then once again, it does kind of require everyone to be, like, on the same circuit and, like, lose that, like, self-control that TOs like to have. And then also a lot of this is just, like, Alan and Ken can't work together. Like, they just dislike each other a lot. Just straight up, if you look through all this, so much of this is, like, Ken fire shots Alan, Alan fire shots back at Ken, and goddamn. It also seems like maybe they might have been able to work together for 2023 despite all that. Maybe. Yeah, Alan wanted to get main stage on the Panda Cup. Alan was constantly reaching out to that for main stage. He also points out situations where, like, you know, Panda Cup, where Panda was in charge of the broadcast while still completing the sponsor stuff for Papa John's, because that was an issue with BTS, is they were afraid of, if they work with Panda Cup, their Papa John's sponsorship and how it would interact with Nintendo. But according to Alan, you know, they got through with that fine. Like, they were able to get Panda Cup and Papa John's to work together despite Nintendo's involvement. So, yeah. It just... And this kind of part of the situation that really sucks to me is... Grant, we're going to read some of the other TO's responses later. But it really... At the end of the day, this feels like the core crux of all the issue, sadly. That all the TOs are afraid because of Panda, like, having Nintendo, like, with them. Yeah, and then Alan did get mad, apparently, in one of the calls with Ken, as he said. And then Alan says, BTS gained something by taking down Panda and Panda Cup, so there might have been a little hostility in that regard. Which, you know, business is business. Could be true, could not be true. At the end of the day, it's just like a theory. And unless we have proof, you know, BTS trying to take down Panda actively, it's just like his own theory about business. And also then, apparently Alan heard that Ken was trying to get TOs to work on him. And actually there is some sort of truth to this, based on other statements. But basically Ken, you know, from Alan's perspective this is great, but from Ken's perspective, this is not great. So Ken telling other TOs about his experiences and all these things I just mentioned. Depends how you view it. But yeah, so like Alan views this as like Ken trying to get TOs to turn him. Ken is just telling TOs his honest experience with Alan and Panda. And it is just the same thing over pretty much. But and then we get to some of the TOs talked out. The TO of Genesis basically said when he talked to Alan that he felt like Alan was a snake. He felt like Alan was manipulative. And then, according to TO of Genesis, Alan knew Smash Bros. Tour was gonna get canceled. So, which I don't blame at all. Tio of Genesis for not wanting to work with Alan at that point, by the way. If Alan is kind of like saying this stuff. And then trying to, you know, do all the things of like, how do they work together? Work with Panda, by the way. And at that point, that sounds like a threat, right? If you know if Alan knows Smash Bros. Getting canceled from Nintendo, and then Alan knows he has, you know, Nintendo backing with Panda, I can totally understand why a TO like the TO of Genesis thinks this is a threat. Why he thinks, oh, Alan's trying to take over shit and control it long term. Here especially. When choosing an analyst desk or stats, which of course might use even if you're on Panda Cup, give up your broadcast and any kind of creative vision you might have had be stamped with Panda logo taken over. Something I'm not okay with. Yeah, risk, blah blah blah. So that's an issue. And then Ken basically says the same thing. Says that Alan threatened BTS, which Panda stuff again, right? Yep, BTS agreed to work with Alan because of his conduct. So it really is the fact that a lot of TOs are like basically saying that Alan was like not good to work with. You know, another TO. I don't know who this. What event? This guy TOs wisely. But basically, he says that all the TOs were basically saying Alan wants to buy rights to the tournament brand and own the entire ecosystem. So, yeah, at the end of the day, when you consider all these things combined, it really sucks. Because I think there was a universe where everyone did work together, but that's just like a universe that steps on a lot of people's toes. And that really seems like the issue at the end of the day is that a lot of miscommunication, a lot of fear, and a lot of like Alan being really pushy. But then also a lot of TOs saying, hey, Alan's actually lying in this stuff, right? And the fact that so many are saying Alan is lying and that his statements and bullshit or whatever leads me to kind of believe them when you have so many people like agreeing. So yeah, that's my perspective on it. I'm not trying to like take too hard of a stance because at the end of the day, you know, I don't know everything. I'm trying to analyze as best as I can and also explain this to you guys while not being like, oh, fuck Alan, he's a piece of shit, look at him. Or fuck these guys not joining Panda. Or fuck Smash Bros. Tour, they shot Panda and screwed us all over. Right? So, I don't know. I hope this was at least made some sense. I think with all these facts laid out, I see how all this happened, sadly. And yeah, hope this is at least informative for you guys. If you have any comments, criticisms, let me know in the comments.